All right, people have been incessantly bothering me to see Miss Sambuca, and she just shed and took one of those famous short tail shits. So I figured now is as good a time as any. We got rain coming in, so I probably don't have very long out here. But I figured I'm gonna take her cage outside and clean it up from that big shit and shed, which you can kind of see in the background over there. So you can see when they take that big shit, you know, she's pretty thin right now. And then all of a sudden, if you see her again in like a month or so, she'll be thickened back out while she eats. Now, she is not where I would have her if I was going to be breeding her right now. She is in line to breed this season. I may or may not do it. It all depends on how I feel when the time comes. I hear thunder rolling in, so we definitely don't have that much time. But I can, I've had her since I believe 2014 now, and she's had 3 clutches for me. She had a clutch in 2015 and then again in 2016, which she just bounced back really well and she really wanted to go, so I let her go, and she did. 2017, she really wanted to go again, but I put my foot down and said I'm not doing 3 times in a row. She got pretty crabby, to be honest. She really wanted to breed. More so than the males. I've noticed the girls are the ones that really get fired up. You can see that chrome head there. She's not totally fired up today. She's a little gray as opposed to silver, but you can still see pretty nice. Plus she has the silver eyes, different than a lot of my other Sumatrans that have that orange. The orange seems to be a little bit more dominant when I mix the two, at least from what I've noticed. She's like, what the hell are you sticking in my face? She always looks like she's mad as hell, but she's actually a really sweet girl. I love that she's nice and dark with the chrome. When she's really fired up, it's really nice. Unfortunately, she's not today. She's a pretty good sized Sumatran short tail. If I had Incognito out here with her, she towers over Incognito. She's probably close to a foot longer. I don't know her actual length, but she's got to be close to, I don't know, pushing 5 feet maybe when she really stretches out. Incognito's maybe 4. If I had to guess, you know, I could be a little off. But anyhow, so I didn't have her go in 2017, and then I also gave her 2018 off. You know, she is an older animal. She's not old, but she's in her mid-teens. And so I don't want to breed her much anymore. Fortunately, she's not been bred a whole lot in her life. I believe Kara had done 2, maybe 3 clutches with her at most. So at the most, she's had 6 clutches in her life. And it may be less than that. It might only be 5. But that's what I like. Limited amount, you know, leave the mileage on. Her last 2 clutches, both were 20 plus eggs. Both were, I think altogether I got 41 good eggs and 1 slug out of her last 2 clutches. So that tells me that her body's in good shape. She's being kept right, managed right. She's not been overused. She's not been kept too warm or too heavy. Everything's just perfect. And so we'll see this year if I decide to use her. Obviously, if I do use her, it'll be chrome to chrome again. And I'll either use the male that I used last time, or I may use her son that I have, and see if I can really dial in that chrome from her side, because he's a pretty nice chrome. I wish the male that I had now from her, the most recent one, I wish he would be ready to go, because he would be an ideal candidate. And if she's still in good shape when the time comes, that'll probably be the last clutch I ever do with her, will be to him, assuming he comes along the way that I think he will. I don't know who produced Sambuca. I did buy her from Kara. I believe Kara got her as a baby or a younger animal, but I'm not sure who produced her. And I want to say, if memory serves, she's like a 2004 animal. And I could be wrong on that, but that's my guess. I think she's a 2004. So I think she's 16 years old this year. But she's a great animal. She's great for programs. She tolerates anything. She has bitten me once over the years, and I knew right away when I went in that day that she was in a weird mood. I could see it. One of my friends was actually here, and I decided to kind of ease her mind that I would give her my hand and rub her chin, and I put my hand up to go underneath her chin, and she just opened her mouth and bit me. And it wasn't hard. It was just kind of, you know, she was freaked out for whatever reason. The next day I had her out for a video and she was fine. Just for whatever reason, she was in a weird mood, and 3 or 4 of my other snakes were in a weird mood that night. There was just something off in the room, whether it was weather related or whatever it was that had them feeling some kind of way. She let me know, and it was probably the most gentle short-tail bite you could imagine. You know, she didn't pop off and really strike. She just opened her mouth and grabbed me and let go right away. But that's the only time she's ever done anything like that. And like I said, I could tell right away that something was off, and I should have just given her space. But I decided that I could, you know, thought I could calm her down with my presence, and obviously I was wrong. But she is a really, really wonderful animal. She can be vocal at times, as many short tails can be. But as you can see, you know, I can pick her up, do whatever I want to with her. She's cool with it, and there she is being a little vocal. She's like, get that camera out of my face. But I'm happy that she shed. She took forever in shed, I swear. But she came out looking great. And now it'll be the march to put a little weight on her in case I do decide to breed her. Like I said, I'm undecided at this point. May happen, may not. I like to plan in my mind the pairings at least, but I don't like to make my decision really until we get to about October, and that I want to breed for sure. Like I said, I plan ahead, and here's the pairings that I have in mind, and here's what I think I'm going to do, but then I let them really dictate what I end up doing. So if she looks like she's ready to go and she's building and her behavior tells me she's in shape, her body looks good, then we'll probably let her go. If I feel like anything's off, then I won't. The priority is always their health over everything else. You know, there's always another year, there's always another way to get babies, but you can't get, you know, these animals back. So I don't ever put them at risk. If I feel something's off, then we hold off. Especially at her age, I do not want her under any undue stress, and she's not a prone to stress animal or anything like that. The only time she's ever given me any trouble was when she was gravid. She is a bit of a pusher sometimes when she's gravid. She just gets very restless. So the first year she was gravid, she actually pushed and got out of her cage. So I've since moved her into a different cage setup, and that seems to do better for her. She's happier there. She's in a Christmas tree tub now. That first season she was in a different tub with almost the same footprint, just a different height. I made it more accessible for her to push, and so now she doesn't seem to do it as much. But she really is a great animal. She's one of my favorite Sumatran short-tails, one of my favorite snakes of all time. There's just absolutely nothing to not like about her. She's got great personality. She's a beautiful animal. She's a great breeder, easy keeper, eats great. She's boned me once eating, where she took a food item and she didn't eat it, and it stunk horribly the next day because I didn't catch it right away. She dragged it under the paper with her, and then sometimes they just lose it and they won't eat it, and then you go to take it from them and they want it, and it's like, no, it's been sitting in there for a day. You're not keeping that. Their system would probably handle it just fine, but I'd rather not. That's what monitors are for. Give them that kind of nastiness. They love that. But I'll cut this short. So you've been introduced to Sambuca, a little bit about her history, a little bit about who she is. She does tend to kind of just chill outside. On occasion, she'll move around a bit. She is an occasional periscoper, but being that this storm's rolling in and it's kind of a real humid and real sticky time, like, you know, they tend to seem to do that a little bit more on the nice afternoon kind of days. Whereas days like this, when the weather's changing like this and it's real muggy, they seem to kind of just lay low. So I've got to start trying to get them out here on days where they'll be a little more active, or maybe encouraging a little bit more for doing this kind of stuff. But this was just to meet the collection, so now you know a little bit about her, and you've seen some of her wonderful babies. All the chrome heads on the channel, except for the male that I bred to her, are all her offspring. And I don't think he wasn't her offspring, because he was produced by Kara, but I think he was out of a different female. Almost want to say like Sweet Midnight or something like that. My memory is really terrible, but I don't think he was from Sambuca. But needless to say, all the other ones that you've seen are from her, from past pairings. And then Black Magic and Amina are actually her daughters as well. I know Black Magic's been on the channel. I don't know if I've used Amina or not, but you probably wouldn't know that was her daughter if you just looked at her, because Black Magic is darker like her father. But Sambuca is their mother. So we will see you guys. Have a good one.